we're behind cover here because some bad guys apparently sneaked up through the gully down here, and they're hanging out on the range. Of course, I'm not sure what kind of cover that is. Looks like it needs better concealment than cover. Got some of them. Yeah, Springfield 5.25. We're going to shoot it some more here, either behind cover or not. This is the 9mm that you saw. We're going to do a chapter 2. We're going to do something a little bit different in this chapter 2 because we really just knocked the heck out of everything in the first go round with this gun. So we're going to incorporate some different things with it. I don't think I can shoot it any better than I did the first go round. Hopefully as well. Because it is a very shootable little gun. First thing I wanted to mention is one reason we went ahead and wanted to do it now, because I've been looking forward to shooting this gun again. I haven't shot it between videos. We've been so busy and with other firearms and doing different things. But we got another ammo donation from Ammo for Sale. Got 1,000 rounds here, 9mm, and I wanted 124 grain, so I got the Blazer. I don't have trouble with Blazer generally. Some people don't like it as much, the aluminum cases, but they've really, in my mind, they've kind of perfected that. I've not had any trouble with it. Of course, sure as I say that, the Springfield won't like it or something, but first magazine it did. But I just not had much trouble with it. Maybe I have and didn't realize that's what it was, but they've got a coating on the aluminum. I think in the early days there were some issues. I'm talking 30 years ago, 20 years ago, whenever they started making the aluminum cases. But I wanted the 124 grain as the best price, and so we get that essentially free from Ammo for Sale. So that was kind of nice. They're helping us out. And by the way, if you order from them, I'll put the information in the description. But this goes for a couple of months, probably 2.5 months. I think through the end of September. If you order $150, you get $15 off from Ammo for Sale. Okay. And there's a coupon code you can put in. I'll put that in the description. It's Hickok45 AFS for Ammo for Sale. So I'll put it in the description. But anyway, we appreciate those folks helping us out again. And we got some other ammo too from them for free. Some 223 stuff for 5.56. So got 1,000 rounds of 9 here. Let's shoot some of it. Okay. And while I'm gabbing, I should be reloading this magazine, shouldn't I? 124 grain Blazer. Okay. So we're going to shoot the gun some more. Hadn't been out that long, and we did the one video with it. So we're going to not be shy. We're going to run some rounds through it. Now what I was going to do a little differently, we've been meaning to do a little bit of this. I get a lot of requests to do videos on the various competitions that I've participated in. And I don't do as much of it anymore. It's not because I'm an old codger, and it's just that I did it so long. I have stood around matches, ranges, so many hours, so many weekends and everything. And I got my own range, and I'm doing all the stuff we're doing with this. I just don't get out to do it anymore, it seems. Not that I hate it, I just don't do it for some reason. I like to shoot so many different guns. And you get involved in it, and you get really competitive, and you want to do the best you can. So you come home with, maybe this is the gun I compete with, and come home and I got to shoot 1,000 rounds or 2,000 before the next match. I can shave off some time, and so you get really kind of focused on it. And I did that for a period of time, and don't know if I could do that again. But back to the questions. I do want to do a little bit and give you some of the basics on some of the competitions. There's probably a lot of videos out there that will do a better job or do a better job. I know a lot of the folks who compete, the national, top competitors do things like that. But I don't know, people keep asking me to do something, so we're going to do a little bit in this video. So we're going to kind of combine some blasting with some of that, just for something a little bit different. And what I did here was, you saw the barrels here. You have to admit that is better concealment than cover, isn't it? Unless somebody's shooting at you with a BB gun. So yeah, they are metal and they're kind of heavy to pick up, but bullets go through, 9, whatever. So got a little cover here, concealment, got a couple barrels stacked there. We're going to kind of make use of the tree, the shooting tree, maybe even the tomahawk target. Just going to do a little pretend here. Got a couple of paper targets up, and I'm just going to pretend there's 3 or 4 places I'm going to shoot from. And that's kind of what you end up with in an IPSC, USPSA match. That's a really popular game, okay? Now I've done IDPA as well, and of course GSSF, the Glock shooting, and SAS, you know, cowboy shooting and everything. But today I was going to just incorporate a little bit of let me say it right, IPSC, okay? Now in IPSC, it's not quite as realistic. IDPA took it to the next step, tried to make it more realistic. IPSC or USPSA, the United States organization, everybody that does it admits it's not realistic. You know, Jeff Cooper and his gang started it, you know, back in, what was it, the 70s or a long time ago. And everybody knows and admits it's mostly fun, but it's also, it borders on, you know, situations as well, okay? But it's mainly fun. Lots of times you're blasting a lot of rounds, staying right out in the open and knocking all these targets down. And that's one reason it's so popular. It's a lot of fun. And just about anybody that does it will be the first to admit, no, it's not realistic necessarily. Parts of it are, a lot of it's not. Gives you a chance to shoot your gun, shoot a lot of ammo, a lot of different targets, on the move a little bit, reloading and under a little bit of stress. You got the clock, you know, running. And so it does help you test your gear for sure. It's a good test for your gear. You know, your gun, your magazines, does everything work? Your brain work? You got to think a little bit, you know, even though it's not totally realistic. Okay, so if you're thinking about trying it, typically, of course, none of this is necessarily what you have. Well, sometimes you do shoot from behind barrels, actually. Now, you'll also typically have a, which I never did really like too much, you'll have a box, a shooter's box. And I've got one down here. I got a couple of pipes from that one. Just to give you an idea, and you'll have kind of a shooter's box you have to start in or something. And you got to shoot around this barrel maybe, okay? So you might have some ideas you'd like to try it, but you have a little fear about it. You don't want to look stupid. You just got into pistols. It looks like great fun, but my gosh, I've seen some of the guys do that. Well, you got, for one thing, you got people that are, you got the Rob Lathams up here, and you got the people in their very first match, you know, and everybody in between. So you're probably not going to be the worst. You're probably not going to be the best. Don't worry about it. Go have fun. But you'll typically start like in a box, maybe behind cover, and on command. You know, of course, the range officer will say, okay, when you're ready, load and make ready. You know, range is clear and everybody's okay. You'll pull out your gun. I'm loaded already, but I'll make sure I'm clear. So you'll be just like this on the line. The range officer will say, okay, if you're ready, load and make ready. So you'll show him your gun's clear generally, okay? And then you will take a magazine, you will load it. And you'll rack one in, you'll be hot. He's watching you, she's watching you, right on your shoulder. You'll reholster. Okay, finger never gets near that trigger, right? Okay, you're ready to go. It's the only time you're hot. About any range on the planet is when the range officer has told you to load your gun, it's ready to go. And then you'll start on the beat. And there's no need to get really nervous. You just, or try to shoot faster than you can shoot, go faster than you can go. You trip over something because you are moving around. Now I'm going to be actually going, this is really not typical what you would see. Usually it's flat and you don't want any obstacles generally, unless there's an intentional obstacle, like maybe you're supposed to like step over something, and there's not a lot of that. Mostly it's what you're shooting through, around, or under. You might have a little peg, you got to shoot under that, and you got to decide whether to get on your knee or not, you know, that sort of thing. But you're not normally having to jump over things or, you know, difficult situations between your shooting positions. So I need to be careful, but it's okay. You always have to be careful. I'm gonna start here. I'm just going to show you kind of, I'm not even sure what I'm going to shoot, but I've got some targets there I'll shoot. You will know in a match, they'll say, okay, from here, you got to engage these 2 targets and those 2 targets, at least twice each or something, okay? And you move to that position, you got to engage that paper target twice, and then a steel target, knock it down, and maybe another paper target. Then you move to another location, and you have to take, you know, 6 shots, all right? So you get a chance to think about it. If you're new, watch some other people go through, see what they do. You know, you kind of learn from that. makes you, oh, I didn't think of that. Yeah, you got to reload right there, don't you? Or somewhere, and you start seeing trends. Everybody's reloading at the same point. You know, so it really does help. My advice, watch several people go through. A good club will make sure you're not the first to go through, of course, if you're new. So you want to count your rounds when you're going to load. Depends on what kind of gun you have. If you have a 1911 single stack, where you've got a gun like this that holds 19 rounds, you know, it makes a difference, doesn't it? So I'm going to shoot more than you would normally shoot from a shooting position, just so I have to reload somewhere, I guess. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of show you kind of about, I started to say 3/4 speed, probably half speed, what I'm doing. Then I'll maybe talk a little bit about it. I'm going to shoot from about 4 different positions, just to give you an idea of the kind of stuff you do, and why it's a little bit of fun. Now normally you don't go moving forward to shoot and then come back and shoot from a position. Not that I recall much of that, but I am going to finish up on the tomahawk target there, okay, just because it's kind of handy as a target. Of course I could start that way, but no, I'm going to go this way anyway. Okay, so and then lots of times you'll have to put your hands on something like this. They'll even have it marked, okay, hands on the window or something. Excuse me, winder. We're in Tennessee. So you put your hands there, they'll have chalk there. You got everybody trying to game it, you know, and there's one guy trying to get his hands down there closer to his gun, you know, so they'll have something like that. Okay, then you got to draw and engage some targets, and then you move. And it's kind of freestyle. You just move, reload when you need to, when you want to. So just give you an idea. All right, so say, okay, shooter, are you ready? You just nod or say yes. You say, shooter, they will say, the range officer will say, shooter is ready, stand by. And then, beep. Then the range officer will say, if the shooter is finished, unload and show clear. He or she will be over my right shoulder probably. I will show my gun is clear, take the magazine out, put it in my pocket. I will wait for the range officer to give me the go-ahead. The range officer will say, gun is clear. Slide forward, holster. And that's why I'll pull the trigger to verify it, and then I'll put it in my holster. So I'm safe, my gun's totally unloaded, I'm finished with that stage. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh no, I missed that target, I didn't shoot as fast as I can shoot, or I had a good run, or I had a procedural, or I stepped out of a box, or whatever I might have done. Okay, so I was just kind of floating through freestyle. Now you notice I left the magazine down here. In IPSC, it makes sense to reload as I'm moving, see? Because I think I took a couple of shots from here, and I believe I was empty, or even if I wasn't empty, if I was about empty, or not sure where I was, I take these shots and pull it back out. So it just makes sense, as I start moving, to drop that mag and put another one in there, so I'm ready to go when I get to this position, rather than load before I leave, or reload after I get here, see? So those are just little tips, little things you learn. Now in IDPA you can't do that. You can't drop a magazine if it has bullets in it. And you're not supposed to reload out in the open. So there's a different set of rules and that kind of thing. This is IPSC, remember. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Okay, let's come back up here and put a few more bullets in and take a few more shots. How's that? I find all my magazines. I think I stuffed them in my pocket. So we're going to load these 3 back up and give you a couple more ideas about how this works. How's that sound? Okay, so we're reloaded now. Hopefully that gave you an idea of a little bit of what's involved, and I'm going to show you a little bit more. But I was trying to just kind of go through about 3/4 speed. For one thing, I haven't done it in a long time, and I don't need to be going full blast. I tried to demonstrate the safety issue of it. You've got to move your finger outside the trigger guard, never with your finger on the trigger, gun pointed, safe direction. Now if you break the 180-degree plane, for example, which I won't do with the gun because it's not hot but it's loaded, this is the gun, and you can't be messing around behind something. You think, okay, I got to shoot from this side, then I shoot from this side, and you start messing around like this, pointing the gun and then bringing it around. Well, you're out of the match. You're disqualified. Go home. You know, I mean, it's kind of a zero tolerance deal with the breaking the plane, pointing at people over there. You can't do it. Okay, you got to keep it down range, and whatever that takes, finger off the trigger unless you're shooting. When you're moving, if I start moving down here, think about it. I'm moving with a loaded gun. This gun could be hot. I shoot some shots, and then I take off. I could slip and fall. Most of the ranges are gravel, just like I could here. But if my finger's not on the trigger, you know, I'm okay. You know, everything revolves around that muzzle direction. And many of you have probably had slips and different things. I've seen people slip, fall down. I've done it myself before. You risk your elbows, you risk everything. You keep that gun pointed down range, no matter what's going on. But I actually learned more about gun safety from competition than anywhere. Not from the fact that I've shot all my life, or from my parents, or from uncles who were gun nuts, or anything like that. It really, until I got into competition and walking around a lot of people with loaded guns or with firearms and shooting going on, where rules have to be very, very strict, did I really get a PhD in safety. And it's one of the huge advantages, offshoots of doing some competition of some sort. It really is, because I mean, you have to be focused. It's not like a bunch of good old boys, you and your buddies, going out to a field somewhere and taking some shots, you know, and you watch your buddy and he's dangling the gun, pointing down here like that. So you do that in a match or anywhere on the range, in an IPSC match, an IDPA match, you're probably going home, you know. So that's a good thing. It really teaches you discipline about handling the gun and muzzle direction and all that. There's one place on the entire range usually where you can load or you can point your gun, you can touch your gun. It's the safety table, and they'll have a special place set aside, and it'll be labeled, and you can go over there. You can't take ammo to the safety table, but you can pull your gun out, and say you just want to check it. You know, you're nervous about the match, you're going to shoot, and there's something about it, you weren't sure it was working right, or you need to take the slide off and oil it, whatever you need to do. You're at the safety table, and they'll have maybe a target right there that you can kind of focus on, and dry fire at or something, you know, that sort of thing. As long as you don't have any ammo, it's okay. Otherwise, you don't touch your gun, and it's in your holster just like that, cold, you know, all day long, until you get on the range and on the stage. The range officer says, okay, you may load and make ready. Then you pull out bullets and you put them in. That's how it works. So those are the big things. Muzzle direction, when the gun's loaded, when it's not loaded, moving without your finger on the trigger. That takes some thinking, and hopefully I didn't violate that. As I moved down the hill here, you know, I was just like this, I hope. Pointing right direction, boom, 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 boom. If I bring around to this side of the barrel to shoot, you know, I give it that, boom, you know, and that. Then I move over here, fingers outside, you know. And then when I drop that magazine, I won't drop it because it's heavy, it's full. It's okay to drop the magazine. I can move, I can run all the way up here. You know, it's not a big deal, as long as I don't have my finger on the trigger and that thing's pointing in a safe direction. So the gun takes precedent over everything. Like I said, what you end up doing is looking at the course of fire. Now this is a really high capacity gun, so maybe you know, another gun would give you a better idea. But for example, if you had to shoot about 6 shots and then move and shoot somewhere else, you got a single stack 45. You know, you take your shots and immediately drop that mag. You know, put another one in, boom, 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 boom. Drop that mag, you know, as you're moving, and shoot again, because you want to do your reloading when it doesn't cost you time. Okay, if you forget, it's not a big deal. You know, you just want to enjoy doing it. But that's part of the fun, is seeing if you can shave off some seconds on your time, and most people do. If you go to your first match, you'll feel like you're really slow, because I always feel like I'm really slow. then the next match you'll see your time a little bit better. Of course, the courses of fire are always different, so you can't, it's not apples to apples, but you'll just see it, you're getting better, and it's a lot of fun. So let me go through kind of slow motion again. I know what you're thinking. Well, you mean that wasn't slow motion the first time? Yeah, let's just do it again. What the heck? Okay, so I'm going to get the command, shooter ready. First I'll make my gun ready. It'll tell me the shooter's ready, load and make ready. So I'll put ammo in, load it, it's hot. I'll double check. It could be that I will, what I used to do is I would have a Barney bullet, or I'd just take a magazine. I'd have a special mag, just a mag in my back pocket or something. I would load, put one in the chamber, then I'd get a full mag. That way I've got, you know, as many rounds in there as I can, and I'm ready to go. Okay, and then get my respiration controlled there. I assume the position, and the range officer is not going to do anything till I'm ready. You know, they're going to ask me if I'm ready. I'm going to acknowledge, yes, I am, whenever that is. And then he or she will say, okay, shooter's ready, stand by, and then I'll listen for the beep. And then when I hear the beep, I will draw the gun, I will take a shot. I might move. Reload. Okay, then say I'm finished, but I got around the chamber, I got a loaded magazine. Range officer will say, if the shooter is finished, unload and show clear. And I will slowly do that. Take the mag out. One of my pet peeves, and I was a certified range officer, one of my pet peeves was, well, I'll tell you in a second. You go ahead and unload. Go ahead and let it fall on the ground, won't hurt anything. You make sure the range officer sees into your chamber, it's empty, and the range officer will say, gun is clear, holster, you know, and that's what you'll do. One of my pet peeves always was, you know, people that mess with guns all the time are really quick. Your hands are quick. You've been doing this a long time. So I didn't like it when people would give it this kind of action. Okay, I'm following along with the clock. I'm the range officer, you know, and boom, 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 boom. And I say, okay, shooter's finished. Unload and show clear. So they get this, you know, it's like, yeah, they go, boom, boom. You know, it's in the holster real quick. Wait a minute, I almost didn't catch that. So I recommend, and what most range officers appreciate, shooters appreciate, is you unload, you show clear, and wait for the range officer to acknowledge it's clear, and kind of go into slow motion. Show clear, pulling the trigger is part of it, and slowly put it in the holster. There's no special points or bonus for how fast you can unload and get the thing in your holster. I used to tell people that, you know. But anyway, that's kind of what it's about, although this is kind of a redneck version of it. But when you go to a match, you may have a setup just like this. You might start from behind a barrel that's been shot up by somebody. That's terrible, isn't it? But you'll more likely have some different boards and standards and walls and things to shoot from behind. You may have a clothesline of clothes to shoot through. It's a lot of fun. Now, I don't shoot much paper, as you know. Why my magazine here? One advantage of paper, which I'll show you here. I remember a course in a state match once. We ran through this little room. It was very small. I went through the tarpaulins, and there were two targets, and they were like right there at point blank. And that's something you can't do with steel. But it was kind of neat because you could run right up to it. I'll do it with both of them. Like the thing I can never do with steel is this. Come right up and, you know. You know, that kind of stuff is fun right at point blank, but you just can't do that with steel, not if you value your eyes and nose and all that. So anyway, a little primer there in some of the competition. Now while I got you, one of the things in IDPA which is different, is that just a couple of things. Like I say, it's a little more practically oriented. Like if you're from behind cover, you got 3 targets to engage, you've got to take them as they would be seen. Like if I'm going to shoot the tombstone and a couple of those rectangles, I've got to shoot the tombstone first, because he would be the most, see, if they're shooting at me, that would make sense, wouldn't it? I wouldn't come out here and shoot this guy over here while the other 2 are shooting at me and reveal myself. So I would take him first, you know, boom, boom, and then those in order of their appearance. Another thing is you don't drop a loaded magazine. If you reload, you can reload anytime, but if there's rounds in it, it's got to go back on your person, okay, and you reload. So tactical reload it's called. So some differences like that slow you down in terms of just run and gun, that make IPSC you know, a little bit different and make it, oh, I guess you could say more fun in some ways, but it's also fun being practical. So I like them both. I just don't get to them anymore. So this is the gun that Springfield sent, the T&E gun, and like I said, I wanted to just do a little wang and bang in here, but build in a little action. You guys have been requesting a little bit of information about competition. Let me reload this while I'm gabbing at you. Maybe I'll shoot 3 more mags. That's kind of the way it is. There may have been some rules that have changed since I've done it, but by and large, I think I hit the high points. Tell you one thing you got to watch. If you're exceptionally tall, like some people I know, or maybe exceptionally short, you got to watch who sets up the course of fire, because one of the things I always found was that there'd be a window to shoot through, and that window, for some reason, was a whole lot lower than any windows in my house, and you know, things like that. So it kind of depends on who conceives the course of fire for the month and who sets it up, and you know, what the drill is. But then again, that's one of the fun things about it. It's different every month, and it's not like going to the same actual, like shooting skeet or something, where you're doing exactly the same thing no matter where you are and what range you're on. So that was the appeal for me early on, and it is a lot of fun. It really is. I mean, I've been in stages and big matches, local matches where, you know, you're sitting in your living room, they have a couch or something, and you get your gun ready and you're lying on the couch. And I mean, it's make-believe for adults, kind of. You have to, well, you don't have to be an adult to do it, but and supposedly some terrorists are coming through the window or something, and you've got to swing into action and take out the terrorists and that kind of thing. Of course, it has to be set up with some intelligence, because safety is the most important thing, and a lot of thought goes into setting up the scenarios. Did I load them on? I guess I did. All right. By the way, that is an Uplula loader. Every time I use it now, I get a lot of questions, okay, about what it is. So I'm just going to blast these 3 mags out and forget the IPSC stuff. All right, let's just have some fun with this thing. Looks like it's oh yeah. Still fun to shoot, hard to miss with it. Oh yeah, Springfield 5.25 9mm XDm. It still shoots well and is a sweet gun and lots of fun. I'm gonna have to shoot this some more. tell you what, you have to get it out and shoot it before I have to send it back. So, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you learned a little bit, got a little basic idea if you've not done any of the IPSC stuff. Now, some of you guys, girls, gals, women that have done a lot of it, hopefully I didn't get anything too wrong there in what I did kind of cover. But I get a lot of questions about it, so I just want to go over some of the basics of it and enjoy shooting this thing some more. So again, thanks Springfield for sending this to me to test out. Thanks ammoforsale.com. Check out the description for the further information about that. It's nice getting 1,000 rounds of ammo. I think I can figure out what to do with it. So life is good.